Hey folks, Joe Rexrode, Adam Sparks here at Vanderbilt Stadium, where we saw Vanderbilt beat Nevada.
Nevada, not Nevada.
Don't ever say Nevada. We learned that in the press box today. They beat Nevada 41-10 to improve to 2-0, Adam, and to set up a game at Notre Dame. We're going to talk about that, but first let's talk about this one. I thought they might have been messing around and making things tougher on themselves with early mistakes in the red zone, but didn't end up mattering at all.
Well, the final score I thought was indicative of how this game went, but it was not indicative of how the early game went. Vandy could have run away with this and got a score like this in the first half. Offense was shaky early on, drove the ball down the field real well, but had some turnovers. That's going to be probably the biggest focus in practice this coming week, is just trying to finish drives. There was a fumble, there was a failed fourth down, just a little sloppy early on, but I thought the mix of the pass and the run worked out better this week than last week. Last week it was run, 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 then pass, 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 then back and forth. I thought there was a better mixture today. Jared Pinkney had one of the better days of his career. Got a couple long balls. Kalijah Lipscomb was a big target. And below those obvious two, there was a mixture of receivers. Chris Pierce had a couple of catches. Cam Johnson from Brentwood Academy had a catch. Sam Dobbs
had a big one.
Yeah, that was in the red zone. Yeah. And they don't have to have those guys just have career days, but they just have to get them involved enough to loosen up that secondary.
Yeah, I thought offensively the balance was excellent. And then defensively, Josh Smith was great today. Derek Mason said afterward, he got pushed a little bit. Kenny Hebert, who made some plays today too, pushing him, so he responded. Joanne Williams, you brought up after the game and asked him about it. It's your first career pick. That's stunning to me. Because
he seemed like he didn't want people to know that.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Adam.
Yeah.
He had a great quote too. He said he had all these poses and celebrations planned, and then he ends up just running to the sideline. Called his celebration trash, but he was not trash, and the back seven was not trash. 2 games now they've played, the tempo dink and duck kind of offenses. Jason Tarver as the defensive play caller, that they seem to, be playing really well and communicating really well and handling all that stuff. It's going to be different stuff that they have to deal with later, coming up right away here, but at least against those kinds of offenses, they look really good.
I like the kind of the friction there between Hebert and Josh Smith, because I think it's a lot of what they need to have on this defense. There's an older group of this team that have played under Derek Mason for a while. There's a good young group, freshmen, sophomores, redshirt freshmen, and there's a push there between those older guys and younger guys, and we saw it especially there in Hebert. Hebert has had 3 sacks and a forced fumble, strip sack today, and then Josh Smith has the best game of his career, a senior, and so you're getting the best out of both of those guys out of that competition.
So let's talk Notre Dame. Let's not waste any more time. I mean, it's going to be the talk all week. They're 2-0. I've already written my column making the case why they could have a chance there.
Okay.
But, they were 3-0 going into Bama last year. Maybe they got a little bit puffy. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered. I don't know. But this is another, to me, program opportunity. And I swear, Adam, this is not Alabama, okay? Notre Dame's a good team. Notre Dame looked good against Michigan. I've seen Notre Dame many a time struggle and mess around with games like this. I'm just saying, if Kyle Shurmur and some of his skill players play out of their minds, I think they have a shot.
Well, and I think that the skill players, I think that's where you got to figure, what have we seen in 2 games that can match up with and beat a Notre Dame team? Keyshawn Vaughn last week was not the back that could beat Notre Dame. He was today.
He's a real guy.
You saw him 8-9 yards a carry, just 10-12 carries, I think. 93 yards, had one long burst, about 46 yards, I think. You saw some explosion out of him that I think can translate to the Notre Dame game. Jared Pinkney is a legitimate NFL tight end, and you saw some of that today. Kalijah Lipscomb, I'll be interested to see how much attention and coverage that he gets at Notre Dame, because he's a legitimate top line SEC wide receiver.
And he's the obvious, clear #1 choice for Kyle Shurmur right now.
Yeah, and Kyle Shurmur, I know he didn't want to hear this and listen to this right now this early in the season, but if he's talking about NFL projections, this is a game going to South Bend that he can really help himself a lot. I know that's not the top of his list, but it certainly can, because that's a tough environment. He's going there with some receivers he's trying to bring into the fold, and he's played really, really well these first 2 games.
I mean, the bottom line is this is a preview for the rest of the season to me. You get in the SEC, these teams are more physical than Vanderbilt for the most part. They get pushed around up front, and they have to figure a way to compensate for that, and that's, to me, the key here. I mean, they have to have some running game. They have to not let Brandon Wimbush and that Notre Dame offense run for 200+ yards. If they can hang in physically, then, you know, Shermer and those guys can make plays in this game.
And I know you don't want to make too much of the connection to Alabama last year, the Alabama-Georgia stretch that tore up this defense, but I think there's a difference in this defense right now compared to the one we saw last year. I feel like you can lean on this defense a little bit to force some turnovers, to turn the game over, and you don't have to have that much from the offense. You have to have enough.
There you go. So, big week ahead of talking about that, but for now, Vanderbilt 41-10, 2-0, feeling pretty good about things. Thanks for watching. We got tons of coverage at Tennessean.com.